Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
It is morning.
It is morning. Welcome to Warm and Cozy Quilting. I'm Jason.
I'm Sadie.
Danielle is taking a class this morning. She's making a rope bowl.
She is.
It's going to be awesome.
With Harriet.
With Harriet. Good
so
time.
Fun.
Welcome to Saturday morning. Running the camera today, we have Victoria.
Hey.
Hi. How you doing over there?
Thanks.
I would just like to point out that every one of us involved are actually not robotic.
No, I'm a real human being.
I'm a real human. I'm a real boy.
As much as I joke about them
clip
just
that. I need
unplugging
that as a
me,
ringtone.
at the end of the day, I don't actually plug into the wall.
No.
No electricity required.
That would be awful.
This is the only thing that is required to run this person.
So much caffeine. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Lord 2.0. No, you can keep your 39-degree weather in Tennessee. Thank you.
I did wear the long sleeves. It's a little chilly here, too.
It's because we had the AC on overnight.
No, I mean outside.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Memorial Day weekend. Normally this
is
the barbecuing and the, you know.
I am going to not be deterred by weather to barbecue. Never have been. Not starting this weekend. I will burn stuff.
Also honoring your servicemen and women.
Absolutely. Appreciate your service.
So please do that. There are flags everywhere.
There are so many flags.
It's great.
It's a good thing we don't have like a method that you have to stop and salute every one of them.
Oh my gosh.
Because like Main Street right now is just all flags.
Yeah.
It'd be insane.
I forget, and then I'm like, whoa.
So many flags.
All of a sudden.
But yeah, it is Memorial Weekend. Happy Memorial Weekend to you all. Be safe this weekend as you go out and venture along and do things.
Yes.
I do look forward to spending some time at home on maybe Monday. We'll see. Let's go set up a machine tomorrow.
Yeah.
It'll be fun though. She gets a brand new machine. She's gonna set it up and play with it all weekend long.
Nice.
Man, I'm jealous.
That's what I want to do with my long weekend.
I mean, right?
Get a new toy.
Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about AI.
We are.
Okay. So yeah, I know I've been doing little shows here like the last few months, asking AI questions, but real conversation. AI is a contentious topic currently.
Yes. Many people have strong opinions. So.
And you may not be aware of that at all, and that's okay.
Sure. And if you have strong opinions, you are welcome to have them.
Absolutely. Bring them on. I'm great with a strong opinion. But the important thing is, this is a safe space for conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I may not agree with what Sadie says. She will not agree with what I say. The fun thing is, we can't fire each other.
Nah.
So it's cool.
Stuck with you
so
for
we're
life.
still going to have to work here. So that said, if the conversational topic is brought up that somebody may not agree with, it's okay. We're allowed to be that way.
Yeah, for sure. Also, we are not computer experts.
Good Lord, no.
We're not writing code or algorithms or computer learning.
I am computer enough to know what code is. And I could if I had to, but I don't really want to. That's why I work at a quilt shop. So, it's safer.
Yeah.
It's so much safer here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. I digress. Anyway. All right. So before we dive into too much, let's talk real quick, briefly, about a couple of 3-4 announcements.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm ready.
Because this is a big, huge, giant conversational topic, and I'm pretty much going to need the entirety of the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So hold on to your butts for this one. First and foremost, next Saturday, show and tell. May I say this real quick?
Of course. Please, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Show and tell is not just mystery quilts.
No way.
Bring what you're working on.
Dude, did you make a bag? Bring it in.
Bring it in. Show it off. Did you make a cute little throw for your nephew, niece, cousins, sisters, twice removed puppy dog? Bring it in.
Yeah.
I've talked to too many people. They're like, oh, but I don't do the mystery quilts, so I can't make it.
You can.
Listen. Yes, you can. Bring your project in. Come get inspired. Even if you don't have a project you're working on, come in anyway. You're working on some chain mail? Bring it in. I'd love to see it. Still haven't seen it yet.
I heard someone telling a story yesterday that they made a whole quilt, showed the person they intended to give it to, and they were like, well, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And that is heartbreaking.
Ooh. Oh.
So, know that some people are not quilt worthy. Also know that some people that are not in this hobby do not get it.
Don't get it.
So, if you need a space that is
I'm not a hugger, but did you hug that person?
I know. I was like, oh, that's awful. That hurts my heart.
People are terrible. Anyway.
We get it. And we will be excited. We will understand the work that you put into it, and we'll be hyped for you.
Absolutely. So bring it in. Show it off to a community of people that understand and get it. Let's see what you're working on. It's actually a great way to meet other quilters as well and kind of hang out with some people that you may have never thought you'd hang out with.
Right.
Which is a fun time. It does start at 9:15 is when we open the doors.
Yep.
We go live here on Facebook for those of you that aren't able to make it out or make it here because maybe you live in, I don't know, Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a drive.
Sure.
We go live at 9:30, so we lock the doors at 9:28. So you have 13 minutes to come in the door and find a seat.
I know that's tight, but we run a tight ship.
You'll be all right.
For
It's
the
okay.
for the Saturday morning.
You want to show off some stuff? You want to be inspired? You're gonna be here. It'll be fine.
What else is exciting about the 31st?
So we also during the show and tell we do door prize giveaway stuff.
Yeah.
So always fun to get freebie stuff. Also, it is a 5th Saturday, which means if you have a loyalty card, that means you get 20% off your purchase that day.
Double discount
Double
day.
discount, and you're here before everybody else. And there's gonna be a ton of really cute fabric. You should see the Halloween stuff that just came in. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure you and I also ordered that. I think.
Believe you.
Yeah.
If you like Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
if you like sewing related themed fabric,
Oh my gosh.
and you like Figo brand fabric, you need to come see us because it won't last real long.
There are little spiders that are buttons, and they're so cute.
It's the whole line's fantastic. Anyway, be aware of that. So that's next Saturday. Be here 9:15. Bells on, ready to go. We do have a couple quilt shows. June 7th, we will be closed. That's 2 Saturdays
Correct.
from now.
Don't come to our storefront. We will not be here.
No.
Instead, we will be in 2 places at once. We will be at the quilt show in Belleville.
Yep.
That's Hearts and Hands.
Yep. That's it.
And
Whiteside Middle School.
And then we will also be in Park Hills at Mineral Area College with Threads of Friendship Guild.
Yep.
Same day, 2 shows. You can also go to Belleville on Sunday, the 8th, but Farmington is a 1-day show.
Correct. So there you go. That 7th and 8th of June, you got your weekend planned. Go to a couple quilt shows. You'll be glad you did. See us either place.
Yes, but not here.
But not here. Don't come to the shop. We will be closed. Don't show up. We have a couple of education events coming up for HandiQuilter and for Janome.
Yes.
Those are all sign-upable on our website.
So we have the HandiQuilter event in August is out there for folks to sign up for.
Okay.
And the It Takes Two event with Janome is available.
And that's June 20th
20th and 21st.
Friday, Saturday. Pick
Yes.
one or the other. You do not have to do both. They're the same class both days.
And you might be asking, what do you mean?
What does it mean, takes
What
two?
is that?
What is that?
What we're doing is we are bringing in from Janome some M8s, which are top of the line sewing, just wonderful machines.
You need one.
All the bells and whistles. Also, then an embroidery machine, which is the 550 ELE. And we're going to demonstrate how you can use both your traditional sewing with your embroidery to make a project.
Yes. You're going to make some little bag, I believe. We got
Yes.
information on that.
Nice.
We saw that from, oh gosh.
Chris is
still
so
there.
nice.
She's awesome. We had her for our last education event. She's awesome.
We did. I also took a class with her at H&H.
Oh, yeah.
Which was really great.
Very knowledgeable.
Yeah. She always, every time I talk to her, I feel like she teaches me something new.
Yeah. She's awesome.
So lots of great little tips and tricks that you're not going to find in your manual or whatever that she just knows.
So if
Wealth
you
of
have
knowledge.
been in the market for that next machine, because let's be real, a lot of you started quilting in 2020. You went and you grabbed whatever machine you could afford and find at the time, because at that time, finding a machine was not easy.
I think that's how most people start. They
generally-
inherit a machine or they find one at a garage sale or whatever before they're like, am I really going to like this hobby?
And now you find, I love this hobby, but man, if it could just be easier or more fun for me, or more buttons and things to push. We're going to have those machines. Also, we're going to have some great deals on those machines. So that's going to be a really good time to kind of learn about it and then realize, oh yeah, I do need this.
And it's way more fun to have a machine that like has all of the features that suit you versus trying to make your machine work for you, you know?
Right. Absolutely. So absolutely do that. Join that class. Pick a day, Friday or Saturday. We try to set it up so that you didn't have an excuse. Did I have to work? No, you don't. You have Saturday. Show up. It's limited seating.
It is.
I believe 8 people maximum.
Yes.
So it'll be basically you and a friend sign up. That's going to be your best bet. We'll put you on the same setup machines together.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time. Beyond that, this is some really good information today, I think. At least it's a topic that needs to be had. So, have you hit the share button yet? I'm waiting. That's what I'm doing right now, is waiting. So thank you for hitting the share button. Also, don't forget to use those reacts there at the bottom of your screen. We appreciate that. And if you're over on YouTube like Vicky, hi Vicky, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Both the options I just mentioned, the sharing and the subscribe, are free. They cost you nothing. That means free.
Yeah.
That's how that works. So do that, and we appreciate you and all your work that you do for us. Do we need to say hi to some people real quick before we dive into this? It's a short list.
Yes.
Okay, let's say hi real quick.
do it.
Okay, so real quick highs, because this is how we do Saturday morning.
Yes.
We've got Pam. Good morning.
Good morning.
We got Vicky. Hello.
Hi,
Good
Vicky.
to see you. We have the Dolores and Joni team from Southern Illinois. Represent.
Yes.
It's good to see you two on.
Good morning. Good morning.
Julie, good morning. Gonna stop by again because I messed up cutting a gown. No. And this scares me even more. She would hurt that gift recipient. So she's also aggressive. She messed up her cuts, and she's also aggressive. I'm intimidated by her.
Yeah.
Don't hurt me, please. I'm only paid by the hour.
But yes, I think I would have done the same. Like if I had a sharp, stabby object in my hand when somebody
I would
said
have been
that,
hard set on that one. That would have been an
rough.
awful situation for somebody.
Rough.
Anyway, good morning, Donna. Good to see you. Yes, thank you for setting up. We set up her machine yesterday, so she gets all weekend to play.
Yes.
And she has one of my screwdrivers.
Mm.
Oh, well,
she does bring up Christian, so
yes,
that's a fun topic.
So Christian is Victoria's boyfriend, and he's home from college for the summer. And I'm going to have him here intermittently. I'm going to start teaching him how to work on machines.
So you might see a young guy with some fluffy curly hair running around the shop.
He did say yesterday, he's like, I'm going to get my hair cut.
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, please, get it all cut off. Just shave it all.
No,
poor Christian.
No, don't tell him that.
I didn't actually say that to him. He just mentioned it. I'm like, oh, yeah, well.
He was in the shop for like 2 seconds, and already a customer was like, you're adorable. I'm like,
poor guy.
Yeah. So he's going to get a lot of attention.
He's going to be my stunt double decoy. You go stand over there. I get some work done.
But anyway, he is very nice, very great. If you see him popping around, say hi to Christian. He's good.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Dolores just did it. Way to go, Dolores.
Yay.
High five. Proud of you. Good morning, Karen. Talking about new machines.
Karen.
Congratulations on the machine. Hope she's working well for you. Hello, Glenna.
Hi,
good morning.
Glenna.
And good morning, Mary. Good to see you on as well. All right. So, with this conversation of AI,
Yeah.
please feel free to involve yourself in the conversation with the comments.
Please.
Again, we aren't experts in this field.
No.
It's generally how we, feel about things. We're kind of going off the information we're gathering from other folks and what we see and what's happening. So the whole point of this conversation is to educate,
Absolutely.
to better understand what the conversation is. Still going to have to do a little bit of your own, maybe footwork to understand it a little bit better on your scale of things. Okay. Good morning, Terry. Thanks for joining us today. So let's talk a little bit about AI. What is AI in general? That's probably a good starting point. AI is really about artificial intelligence. That's what AI stands for.
Mm-hmm.
It refers to the systems that can mimic human intelligence, learning from data, making decisions, and sometimes even creating. AI has been around as a concept since 1950.
It's been around a while.
In 1950 is when it was actually coined artificial intelligence. And since then, it's been in everything we do.
Yes.
Autocorrect.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm forgetting here from Windows? The spell check.
Yeah.
Spell check. How many of you have ever used spell check in your life? Victoria raised her hand also. Here's the thing. We've been around AI for so many years. You have not avoided it. Sorry.
What about Clippy? Do you think Clippy is
Clippy
AI?
was straight up AI.
Oh my gosh.
Even though Clippy was all of our heroes back in the early 90s.
Clippy. You don't even know. You don't even know.
Victoria has no idea who Clippy is, but I know you do. Clippy was great. Clippy was this cute little paperclip in Windows that would come out and ask you, do you need help? And then he'd like bend into other shapes and stuff. And
I've seen pictures of Clippy.
It was also kind of weird.
Clippy,
and the end of his paperclip would wiggle like he's waving at you.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird, but okay.
Yeah.
That's cute.
By the way, AI. There wasn't somebody driving that paperclip. That was computerized. I do think they should bring back Clippy. It was fantastic. But also, again, just more to that point that AI is not scary. It's been around for a long time. If you use a computer,
yes,
you've been using AI, like it or not.
Sometimes I think people don't have a deep understanding of AI, which I totally understand. But they will just think AI, oh, that's taking away people's jobs, or that is bad in some way. And so they're like, I don't want to use AI. I don't like it.
Right.
But you're already using it. I'm so sorry to
Correct.
tell you. It
Absolutely.
is baked into so many things that we do.
Right. And so don't let it be that hot button topic for you that makes you think, oh no, it's the worst thing ever. Because
Yeah.
it's really not. It's the use of it.
Yes. Do you know what my favorite use of AI is, I think?
Oh no. No, I'm afraid to ask. I'm going to bet it has to do with cats and videos.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It's when I'm typing an email and I have typed, I have attached, and I have not attached. And AI says, you really want to send this email? Because you didn't put an attachment, but you said you put an attachment.
Yeah, that's a nice saving option, actually.
So many times it has saved my life. I'm like, oh, I look like a dummy.
Yeah.
But I don't have to because AI saved me.
It does. It really is actually kind of super helpful that way.
I love when it autofills the end of my sentence for me and I can click tab and then the sentence is done.
Yeah, using the tab button to autofill a sentence. Yeah. Like sometimes but sometimes maybe I don't want to use the word the. Maybe mind your own business, computer.
Yeah, sure.
I want to just leave that word out and go straight into a verb.
Yeah, but sometimes you'll have that predictive text when you're writing an email as well. It'll be like, do you want to say sincerely, blah, 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 or whatever.
Right.
They'll kind of analyze what you're typing and give you suggestions.
Right, which is nice. As far as AI being in the quilting world, though, let's kind of move that direction. Because again, I think AI is a big conversation. It's all over the place. It can be used for tons of things.
For sure.
We're quilters.
Yes.
How does it really work for me?
Sure.
Or not? Or should I be concerned about it? Currently, we have AI-powered software that can generate quilt patterns using algorithms trained on thousands of traditional and modern quilt designs. Programs like Adobe Firefly, Deep Dream Generator, and Art Breeder. I've never heard of any of these. I've heard of Firefly. Have you heard of any of these programs?
Deep Dream Generator sounds fun.
It sounds like you get some wild stuff out of it.
I bet you do.
I kind of want to check that one out. But they can suggest quilt layouts. But also to that end, EQ8. How many of you have ever used or heard of EQ8?
Yep.
We've all heard of the EQ series of programs.
We use it all the time.
Yep, Debbie uses it all the time for setting up quilts.
If you've had a quilt made by Debbie, she probably at least consulted EQ8 at some point.
Correct. The cool thing about what EQ8 does for us, though, is that it can offer suggestions on color and maybe even patterns that would work well for what you're trying to accomplish. So that suggestive ability of AI, there. Kind of scary, though. Is it scary, though? It's nice, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But this is where it's starting to dabble in that questionable ethics thing, I think.
Sure.
Giving us a chance to make a decision before we hate the fabric without the hours into the project.
Right, because you can, in EQ8, you can upload an image of the fabric that you're using, and it will actually apply that fabric to the quilt that you have laid out. So theoretically, you could build out the entire quilt in EQ8 or previous versions and see what it's going to look like before you've cut your fabric and pieced it all together to then go, this looks too busy, or I don't like this color here. You can kind of preview, I guess, doing that in EQ8.
I feel like, though, part of the process, and maybe this is where, and I'm going to play both sides of pro cons for AI, by the way, because I would have to say I'm definitely kind of middle of the road on it. I'm not totally for or against one or the other. But, like, I feel part of the process in quilting is the creating process. And learning and trial and error. And given I don't want to create something to be completely in disgust with my color choice, part of that learning is putting it together and being like, I really don't like the way that actually goes together.
Sure.
I feel like a computer screen doesn't really capture those colors going together as well as it should or shouldn't.
And it doesn't. Also, like, for example, we had somebody yesterday bring in this amazing pixel quilt.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. Can we call her out? It was Andy.
Yeah, it was.
Andy, if you're watching, that quilt was fantastic.
So cool.
I don't know if she's watching, probably not, but that's okay.
But again, that is, you take an image, you put it into this computer system, it then figures out a pattern for you. But
God, that's cool though.
pixelated quilts are a great example because up close, they look crazy.
They do.
But when you can take a photo of them or get that proper distance,
Mhm.
they look completely different.
Right.
So I think when you're designing a quilt in EQ8, you have those same challenges because you're looking at it from a distance and you don't have that close-up view. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that can be a challenge.
Yeah. I don't know. That's how many of you use EQ8? I feel like so. Pam says that she has it.
Yeah.
She needs to use it more.
Sure.
Again, it's a really neat, powerful tool.
It is, but it does kind of, you're right. It does kind of get into that that ethics bit. For me, I think the biggest sticking point is that so what AI does is it evaluates large sets of data, right? So we are talking quantity, not quality.
Yeah.
So you have to be a little bit careful about what AI then tells you as a solution because they're not prioritizing like what is a good source or anything like that. So anytime you use AI, double check it. Like don't just trust that they know everything.
Right. So I did have all that information in my previous notes. So I made 2 notes. I was going to surprise you with the comments and notes I'm using are actually generated from an AI program. But my original notes, I did have more information as far as like how AI does operate. Generally, it bases off of a database of information.
Sure. Yeah.
If you're using Googly search, it's basically searching the web. If you're using EQ8, it's taking all the information that's been given to it based on data received from thousands of points of information.
Absolutely.
That said, if a couple of those points of information are completely ludicrous, guess what? It still
Throws off the
incorporates
whole
it.
thing.
So, which is where AI can be great, but also you can't just 100% trust it.
Right.
So keep that in mind also.
Yeah.
Or do like Pam does and just use your graph paper.
Yeah.
I mean, has graph paper ever lied to you? Ever? No.
No.
It's a little square.
Yeah. If it's wrong, the graph paper didn't send you wrong. You did math wrong.
You math
somewhere.
wrong. That's where you went wrong,
Yeah.
right? You and math. But then you use a calculator. It's just AI?
It's
Is it? No, it's not.
technology.
It's technology. It's different. Is my dog AI?
No.
Oh, thank God, because he's not real bright. Poor guy.
He needs some more computer learning.
He does need so much more computer learning. People can use AI for pattern recognition. If you see a pattern, and I'm going to just refer to this briefly, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but like maybe you want to create a block using AI to search it with Google Lens.
Sure.
Have you ever used Google Lens?
Yeah.
Have you? You have. You haven't? Oh, I love it. It's kind of neat. You can take a picture in the search bar with Google.
Yeah.
And it'll look at it and be like, oh, let's find all the images that are similar to that out there in the world.
There's a similar version of that on Amazon that I can take a picture of the thing and it'll take me to.
Yeah, Amazon does the same thing. You can take a picture of something and it'll find it on their store where you can purchase it for whatever dollar amount. And
Right.
ship for free with Prime. Thanks, Amazon.
Yeah.
Straight to my door or somebody else's door because...
But yeah, it's really great for like you're in the garden and you see a bug and you're like, I don't know what that bug is. You take a picture of it with Google Lens and then it's like, oh, that's this kind of bug. And you're
Right.
like, perfect.
And I have used that for people who are like, what block is this? And they'll post it in one of the Facebook groups or something like that. You take that and you push through Google Lens and then it tells you this is the general believed name of that block.
Sure.
It's a lot easier to find it there than searching through a 900-page of encyclopedia of quilt blocks, which I will do, but sometimes there's easier ways to do it.
Right. But that is also totally AI.
Absolutely is. Julie is absolutely correct with that one.
Yes.
Color theory, one of the points that AI offers out there is choosing fabrics is often the hardest and most fun part of quilting. AI tools can suggest color palettes and complement your main fabric or simulate how various combinations look when stitched together. Again, I can agree with this and I can get behind that.
So theoretically, like you can use AI for quilt math. If you're like, I am making a quilt, all of my blocks are 10 inches. It's going to be, this is way too easy, but
Yeah.
My quilt is going to be 8 blocks across and 10 blocks down. So how many 10-inch squares do I need? And it will do that math for you. And that, because it's math and there's not a whole lot of subjectivity to math, those are pretty accurate. You can usually go with that.
Right.
using it for color palettes and choosing fabric, I think, is also a good tool because you can look at a pattern and go, okay, well, this pattern needs 7 different colors and I want it to look like a sunset. So then you can go to AI and say, I need 7 different shades in a sunset color palette, and it'll spit out 7 different shades. That is a way I see it as using as a tool for the creative process and not actually like taking over the creative process.
Right. I think that's the fear. I don't want it to overrun it. But
Yeah.
I think what is interesting, what why I'm optimistic about that side of it is how many folks started online. Quilting.
Oh, yeah.
Raise your hands.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of you out there. And then you go to a store. Maybe you don't live next to us, and so you can't come in and be excited with us when we get to pick colors with you.
Sure.
Maybe it's a shop that's run by 1 or 2 people that always swamped with folks, and so you're in there by yourself trying to match colors. Well, sometimes that's tough to do, especially if color combinations is not your strong suit. Having a technology that can look at what color you've got and making suggestions is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So that way you're not entirely alone.
Yeah,
Because you haven't
absolutely.
built that fan base of, follower quilties that can kind of group with you,
Mm-hmm.
quilt groupies.
Yeah.
So
Also, if you don't want to use AI, you can also use our Facebook group for that. We have a little
We do.
group of quilters, so you can, say,
it's a
hey,
nice plug.
which border should I use? I like this
Option
A
1,
or
option
B.
2.
Yeah.
Which is actually great. And those folks are not AI. They will give you great suggestions.
Yeah, they're real human beings.
They're real people. I'm a real boy.
Are you gonna do that every time?
Yeah.
I might.
Uh-huh.
I think I have to. I think it's become required that I say it that way every
Drink
time.
every
Actually,
time, Jay. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's a little early for the tequila, but if that's what we have
No,
to do.
drink your coffee.
Oh!
Drink your
Tequila.
coffee every time.
Yeah, that's because I have coffee in my coffee mug.
Yes. Okay. Goodness. Now you're gonna have people checking.
I mean, that'd be weird. Please don't. Anyway, that just kind of went sideways. Oh my God, where was I at?
I'm like, what's your next point? Otherwise, I'll
I'm going to
jump.
move on to my next point.
Okay,
Next
perfect.
point, smart sewing machines. This is how
Oh,
it's
yeah.
working in the quilting world with us as well. So AI is there in your machine. Now, and if you have one of those basic standard mechanical machines,
Yeah.
this does not apply to you.
If you've got knobs and dials and not buttons and screens,
Yeah,
probably mechanical.
probably mechanical and probably no AI involved. You're safe when the robots take over.
Right. Your machine is kind of dumb. That's okay.
That doesn't mean it doesn't stitch well.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a great
It
machine.
just means
Workhorse.
it can't calculate.
Yeah.
So you're fine. But if you have a machine that can adjust your stitch length for a stitch you selected, or the tension for that stitch you selected, or any setting that you've created or have, oh my gosh, stitch you're trying to accomplish, it can set that for you.
Mm-hmm.
AI. I mean, it's looking at a database. It knows what it needs to do. It takes that information and says, we're going to set it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Every sewing machine company that has a top line machine has a machine that has AI in it.
For sure.
And again, I'm not super scared about that idea because again, it knows what it's working from and it's going to do its job seamlessly and you'll never know it existed.
Right.
So don't panic about that. The robot's not out to get you. It is not Y2K.
No.
We're past Y2K. We've missed that. The world did not end that year. That was a really
Put your
weird
beanie babies away.
Put them away. They are not a currency anymore.
Julie also said something about movie lines. And as I was talking with my husband, getting this topic together, he was like, oh, you have to quote Jumanji. What do you mean the game thinks?
No.
And I'm like, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, no, you do. I think you have to, there are certain lines you absolutely have to say in the same stylized version as it is. Otherwise, just what's the point? So our sewing machines are going to keep getting smarter. They're going to continue working on making things easier for the computers, which makes it easier for the end user, which would be you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a bad thing. It's nice to be able to not have to run to a book and flip to 85 different pages to find that specific stitch. You just hit it. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
Boom. Bob's your uncle. If he is, that's cool. I do have an Uncle Bob.
Do you?
I do. But also there's robotics. So if you have a long arm with Pro Stitcher or a robotic system, yeah, it's AI. It thinks. It's out to get you.
Oh.
No, it's not. I'm kidding.
It's
kidding.
Not. It's not.
It's not out to get you. This part here kind of concerns me a little bit as far as the personalized learning and community. It's changing how we learn. So AI pays attention to what you're watching on YouTube and or any other social media platform, and then recommends tutorials based on your skill levels and your past watches.
Yep.
Again, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's nice to have what you're trying to find to be catered to you and your skill set.
Yeah.
If you are just starting and you see something from Judy Niemeyer on paper piecing, you're probably going to say, nope, I'm out. Because that's some awesome paper piecing stuff. Like, it is a skill level I do not have yet. Probably never will, but that's okay. But it's kind of nice having that work out for you. What did I have this as a concern for? A loss or lack of community. I guess because my concern here is if I'm more focused on the internet, am I going to use that as my main source of information and not seek out a community of quilters?
I mean, I think we've done this whole computer thing for a while now, and people
Sure.
have not given up their in-person community.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're different. Like, there are great things. Like, if you like a specific designer, right? You can find a group out there, a forum, a page, a social media page for that designer, and connect with other people who are also excited about that.
Yeah.
You might not have that easily accessible in your local guild or quilt shop or whatever. So in that way, it's really great because it can connect you with people that you don't have access to locally.
Right.
But at the same time, like, don't give up your local connection, because sometimes, like, you can't invite your computer friends to come shop with you or go on a bus hop as easily, right?
I think then to that end, also you have to put out there, don't give up on the idea of looking for a local group.
Absolutely.
I feel like to some degree, folks that are new to this and mostly are exposed to quilting via the internet
Mm-hmm.
don't realize that there are so many options for community
Yeah.
in each area. Just because you don't have a quilt shop nearby, like there are folks that live in the middle of nowhere, their nearest quilt shop is 6 hours away. Doesn't mean there aren't quilters in your area.
Sure.
Doesn't mean there isn't a quilt guild. Doesn't mean there aren't like-minded people in your area that would love nothing more than to get together once a month and talk nothing but quilting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Those communities exist and are there for you to be able to start. And you may have to be the one to start it.
Yeah.
If you are in a Facebook group, let's call it Young and Millennials.
Yeah. Love that group.
If you're in that group, if you are in the 40s age range and you're sitting there, you're enjoying quilting, kids are older, they're kind of self-sufficient. Now what am I going to do with my time? Hey, is there anybody in my area and we could start our own group, or is there a group in my area that I didn't know about? Great way to find local quilters that you can hang out with.
Yeah. And one thing I love about local quilters that I don't get as often from the internet is just like good tips.
Mhm.
Man, things that they have picked up in their sewing journey that they share with me. And sometimes it's just like things that don't translate well to text or to another media, is like how you have to move your hands or something like that. When you have somebody who is actually there and can actually see what you're doing, sometimes that's just so much clearer.
Right. And that's where you kind of get past that whole concern about computers and AI, because in the moment you're now dealing with somebody in person.
Mm-hmm.
Like Deborah loves EPP. I love the look of it.
I do too. I want to love EPP so bad.
Maybe eventually someday. But Julie, you're right. I mean, quilting is notoriously a solo sport.
That's why it was so popular in COVID. You know, you didn't have to hang out with other people, which was a concern at the time.
Right.
You could do it from your living room or your dining room table, as is very common for beginning sewers.
In your fabric stash, in your sewing machine, in your space and time at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So it is real easy to do a hermit thing. It's dangerous to a point. It's fine. But eventually, finding your community.
Yeah.
Yes, Cindy, open sews.
Yeah.
I mean, great way to talk to other quilters. Sometimes I wonder if actually anything gets done in the open sews here.
It totally does.
I'm sure it does. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How to take over the world. That happens. All right. Concerns and the human touch. So this is another thing about AI that's very much a conversation in the quilting world. Can't talk about AI without addressing concerns,
Yes.
obviously, which I just previously touched on and kind of like drug right into this point. Some worry about AI generated designs, lack of soul, or human creativity. Pardon me. Other fear automations could devalue the skill and time traditionally associated with quilt making. Valid.
Yes.
Very valid.
Very
It's very
valid.
much a concern. And I think this is the point. I think that most people, when they hear AI in the quilting world, this is that point that freaks them out the most.
Right. So in this particular instance, we are talking about generative AI. So this is not your AI that is just like synthesizing a large amount of data. This is AI that is synthesizing a large amount of data and then is generating something new
Correct.
that previously didn't exist.
Correct. So, that said, I'm going to throw this out there because it's just the way it was written. AI is a tool, just like a rotary cutter or a sewing machine once. It doesn't replace creativity, it enhances it. Or so that's the intention.
Mm.
Okay. Now, unfairly, a rotary cutter changed the way we cut our fabrics.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't change how we use those fabrics or how we purchased fabrics.
Right.
I still needed 2 yards of fabric, whether I'm going to cut that with scissors or I needed 2 yards of fabrics, regardless if I'm using a rotary cutter. So, not really an apples to apples comparison there.
Sure.
However, I do agree with that AI is a tool in the way it's used. So, as far as concerns, you want to kind of aim into concerns here because you spoke about generative AI.
Yes.
How many of you out there know what generative AI is and can you see it? Am I mowing your lawn on this one? Is that
No,
where
you're
you want to
good.
go with that?
So generative AI is, so for simplicity, there is the Google version of this is called Dolly. It's DOLL.E.
Okay.
And you can type in a prompt and it will spit out an image, basically.
Okay.
So Victoria, if you would, I have a version of an AI quilt.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I've lost my mouse.
Oh, that happens all the time on that. Good luck.
Oh, perfect. Found it. We're good.
Oh
So,
my.
this
That's pretty.
is an AI generated image of a quilt.
Okay. How do you know?
Things that you may see and go, yeah, that's probably AI. So looking at this, yes, it's very pretty, but how in the world would you piece that? AI does not understand traditional piecing, foundation piecing, any of that, paper piecing, applique. It just goes, oh, there's fabric with textured lines, and this looks cool. This is an art thing.
Yeah. I do love that this is an Adobe stock image too.
Right?
That's great.
Also, you'll notice that the fabrics are not uniformly the same color, and that's pretty true across the whole design. And yes, there are ombre fabrics and multicolored fabrics, but that's not your typical situation.
Yeah, not those colors to that color in any sort of fashion.
Right.
Okay.
So that's kind of one earmark on how you can tell that an image is AI generated.
So the fabrics are a bit weird.
That's
if they're overly pretty, maybe be cautious about it.
So it kind of it gets into that uncanny valley type of thing where it looks like at quick glance you wouldn't maybe catch it, but the longer you look at it, the more you're like, there are some things wrong here.
Yeah.
So that means it can be images of completed quilts like that. It can come into pattern writing, into fabric, any of that. So I also have an example. Someone typed in trying to mimic Kaif's design style, right? So these are two examples. The one with the ruler edge along the bottom.
They're on the right side.
That is actually from Free Spirit. That is a genuine Kaif facet designed print.
Which is gorgeous, by the way.
It is
I'm
gorgeous.
a fan of that one. I really am.
The
Great
one on the
colors.
left is what AI came up with.
That's so wild. I still don't believe you. I mean, I do, but
it's very close. It uses a lot of the same, design motifs, similar styling, not quite the same.
Huh. And how would you like? I mean, is there any way to know that it isn't if you were out there looking for K fabric and you run across this? Probably cheaper in price, like super reduced cost.
Definitely, you get what you pay for.
Okay.
So be wary of that.
Yeah.
Also, like you can kind of see that some of that design, those design features are just fuzzy.
Yeah.
Part of that is going to be the quality of the image, but some of that is just AI. Like AI doesn't usually define things really well.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's what I've heard is like if you look at an image that's AI, sometimes it will like out towards the outer edge, things become less crisp. They're more softer and muddled in color and definition, just because AI is like, you got the gist of it.
yes.
So it kind of like you heard of Jump the Shark in video and shows, TV shows.
Yes.
It does that with the image. It's like you got the idea. Figure it out from here.
Also, when it comes to the ethics of these generated images, a lot of times the computer system that trained that AI that is now generating the images
Mhm.
was trained on art where artists did not consent for their art to be used in this way.
Okay.
So that kind of gets into the ethics bit of it a little
Mhm.
bit as well. Also, most computer learning is done with art and information that is provided, sorry, Jason, but generally by cis white males,
Okay.
where the quilting world tends to not be that same demographic.
Correct.
So some of that is maybe not going to gel real well.
So you're saying that a guy that's creating art is going to say this is how art quilt is supposed to be? Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, in general, like...
No, I'm not saying that by any stretch, because Jason's very knowledgeable.
Not me
He
specific.
absolutely
I take
knows.
zero offense to any of it. Oh, whatever. But I do know all the things.
But I'm just saying, like, the data set is not necessarily reflective of the community.
Gotcha.
So you
That's
wanna,
what I was trying to get
yes, you kind of want to keep that in mind.
at. Okay.
But also some feel that
like
by
the food pyramid that was created by lawyers and not doctors.
yeah,
That was crazy. I
That was
learned that a
crazy.
long time ago. I'm like, what? Okay.
I
Sorry.
lost my train
I
of
totally
thought. I'm
sidetracked you.
sorry,
You're
the
welcome.
train just derailed. But there's bias in the data that was provided.
Okay.
And some people feel that by using AI to make this art that is for specifically the demographic that quilting typically is,
Mhm.
that it is cheapening the human element of it
Right.
because it's seemed as less value because it is women's work or
Gotcha.
some other minority that they don't feel is valuable.
Okay.
So there's that part of it.
Okay.
And then I
Social.
think you're going to get into the environmental part of it.
I was going to, but I like where Julie was at with this conversation about foundation paper piecing that was AI generated.
Oh, yeah.
And do you have a sample of that?
I
that
do.
I really think would be very important to bring up and show kind of at this point.
Yeah.
If you're
No,
okay
you're
with
good.
that.
So also you will find AI generated patterns out there on the web. Here is an example. So this is a foundation paper piecing pattern that was anyway at one point available on Etsy to buy. And this is an AI generated quilt design.
It is. Look at that super cool wolf face, man. That'd be awesome to make.
I mean, it looks great. And there are some really detailed foundation paper piecing designs of animals that exist out there that are real, that were actually made by humans.
Okay.
But you can kind of tell that this is AI. First of all, if you look at the scissors in the bottom left, they just like stop existing.
There is no thumb.
Yeah.
Like it's just one.
Like you couldn't
scissor.
actually use those scissors to cut anything.
You could stab something with it, but that's about it.
Also, some of these shapes that they're making are not really possible with foundation paper piecing.
Like specifically what?
Like the curve of the ears.
Oh, so you zoomed in on the ear over here on the right side.
I did.
And so that curve would be real difficult to replicate with paper piecing in one go, because that looks like one go.
Correct.
Which is nutty.
Also, you'll see that there's all these different colors represented in here, but the fabric print is not the same from piece to piece. Like it's a unique piece every time.
That's a decision.
Which is not how it would actually be pieced if you were quilting it.
Right.
Also, on this zoomed in version, you'll see that there's like a suggestion of a seam on the corner that doesn't make sense and also doesn't go all the way to the edge of the fabric.
It does not.
So that's another indicator that this was a computer generated image.
Wild.
So an actual quilt of this does not exist and could not be made.
Yeah. Wow, that's so wild.
But you can still buy the pattern. You can still throw money at somebody.
Somebody would take your money for that. They would send you that, and you would be like, "Why is this happening?" And you would be exactly like Julie just said, frustrated with a pattern.
Right. And
so
you don't
that's
need
stuff
that.
to look for. I
Yeah.
mean, like, that's, again, be aware that this exists. This is not something that's going to go away.
No.
You just got to be more cognizant of it. Now, AI being AI, in time, with enough information given into it, it could actually get better.
Sure.
It could be taught by
Right.
way of information put into that database that it bases off of.
Yeah.
But,
Because if you think about it, AI right now is the worst it's going to be. Because it'll be a little smarter tomorrow and a little smarter the day after that.
Right.
So,
as information is fed and is properly given to it in a proper fashion.
yes.
Okay. So there are so many more concerns, though, besides just you going out shopping in the world.
Yes.
One of them is copyright. Okay.
Yes.
Let me tell you right now, I am not going into copyright law right now with you guys.
Please, we are not lawyers.
Not a lawyer.
Went into the
Not at
creative
all.
field for a reason.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of gray area, but this is a lot. Simple fact is, if you are going to do something with AI, know this. If you use any of the AI generation prompt programs that exist, you cannot copyright it.
Correct.
Okay? At this point, they're working through that. It's very muddy. They're dealing with it as best they can. But if you're using a prompt, don't expect that you're going to be able to copyright it. Because the computer did it, that's not original. The computer did it.
Right.
Just be aware of that.
Right.
So if you're a creator, there's no shortcuts, but you know that already. You're
Yes.
aware that
Right.
no way I'm going to shortcut that. So don't think you're going to get rich quick with that.
Also, inherently, it is synthesizing the information it's been fed. So
Yeah.
it's always going to be derivative of other people's work.
Mm-hmm.
There's no getting around that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
So, and that's the thing too. Like it has to base its information from somewhere, and
Right.
it's work somebody else did. And if they didn't consent, like you said, and they use that information or that image to build that database, well,
Yeah.
that's shady work right there. So be mindful of that. Environmental is another giant concern. This does kind of venture outside of the quilting world,
Sure.
per se. But I do feel like as far as the environmental concern is going, there's a lot to be said here. How do I summarize this?
Okay. Here's the deal. It
Okay,
is
go ahead.
large amounts of data, like large data sets. All of that data has to be stored somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need these large storage arrays of hard drives to house all of the data.
When you say data centers, think of a large, giant warehouse full of nothing but servers that store information.
Correct. With wires everywhere. The cord organization is astounding in a server room.
Could you imagine being in there?
Yes. I have
Lord.
been in server rooms before. Also, not only do you have to have the power to the servers to house the data, you also need the computing power.
Mm-hmm.
And servers are still finicky technology as far as tech goes. So that room has to be temperature controlled.
Yep.
Anywhere you're housing them. So there's that energy concern as well.
And there's, for that cooling part of it, they sometimes do use water for cooling,
They
which
do.
now you're dealing with water and making sure it's not becoming horribly polluted in some form or fashion. I believe, so, and again, this was just some brief, quick information that I kind of picked up last night. I was looking through a few different places. Generally right now, worldwide usage of power consumption for data centers and things of the sort is around 2% of the world's power usage. They expect in the next couple of years it's going to go up to about 5%. Again, when you're talking worldwide usage, to even be a blip on that radar, it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now, that said, with the use of the softwares and the programs and the thoughts, my hope, expectation is that with time, they'll come up with better methods for making it more effective.
You know they will. I mean,
Smaller processors, less demand for electricity, ability to read and process things faster. So it's kind of a snowball effect, I feel, possibly.
Sure. I mean, early
But-
computers used to take up an entire room, and
Right.
now we all have them in our pockets.
Right. For the same power, we're actually better than they had back in the 1950s.
Right.
So, like, it can.
Sure. So will that be minimized in the future? Possibly, but we
Right.
don't know now.
So just be aware of that power conversation, the environmental concerns there. Also, making all those products, all that computer technology, like that stuff has to be produced. Like there's material production there. So like it's
It's its own beast.
like I said, it's a whole nother conversation I'm not fully prepared for. So again, I feel like that could fall into that whole cons category. Be mindful of your situation there.
Yes.
Does that mean take your phone and throw it away? I don't think so.
No, and I also think that this technology is worth exploring, right? Like,
Sure.
if it makes certain things easier for me that I don't like to do, I'm happy with that. But
Yeah.
I don't really want AI mowing my lawn and doing the creative part, because that's the part that I like.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
I do want AI mowing my lawn. Like
Yes.
literally, like please give me
Please.
a robot that will mow my lawn for me.
Like a Roomba, but for the lawn?
They have them.
Dude.
I really want one. Yeah. They're really kind of nifty.
Father's Day is coming up.
By the
no, I'm just
way-
kidding. I'm just kidding.
What are they called? What are they called?
They're looking for investors because they're not cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And an electrician to install it. But anyway, they do. I mean, things like that exist, and I love that idea. And I mean, that is to some degree an AI technology that can learn a path of where it's going. So, like again, you're not going to get away from AI.
Right.
You are not going to avoid it. It is not a monster that's out to get you. How many of you grew up and watched The Terminator? Or, during that time you watched your kids watch The Terminator and you're like, dear Lord, we're in trouble. She just saw the price of one. That's what that reaction was. But also I have to say that I grew up, I would say I'm lucky enough to what I've seen technology-wise. Like, from the days of the 80s where it was a green screen with a dot matrix screen with a dot matrix printer, like horrifically awful, to the technology we have now. Like,
Yeah.
look, guys,
Wild.
if you can't look at it in a state of awe, like, it's kind of incredible. The dark side of it is the environmental and how it's actually affecting, how we create.
Mm-hmm.
But be smart about what you're buying out there. If you are a online purchaser of things, you love to go to Etsy to find stuff, cool. But like Cindy said, that's a great reason why you go to your local quilt shop.
Correct.
I'm buying from distributors who are purchasing from pattern writers.
Correct.
Now, if that pattern writer goes shady on us and starts going all AI for pattern generation, I won't carry them anymore. It'd be real simple that way. Because I need stuff that actually works and looks good.
Yeah.
But, be mindful of that. I think your pictures that you had were kind of great, actually, especially that wolf pattern one.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, we went side tangent when we were in H&H
Mhm.
A couple weeks ago. We were in a presentation. This guy was talking about AI.
Mm-hmm.
And his whole presentation had all kinds of pictures and like things he did using AI generation. You had left to go to your next meeting, and I was finishing up that presentation, that seminar. And one of the images he had was this gal sitting in front of her sewing machine, looking like she's running fabric through the machine, except the fabric was under the needle plate.
Womp womp.
I'm just like,
That doesn't work that way.
I mean, sometimes it feels like it. Like, why are you in there?
Mm-hmm.
But again, you got to be mindful of what's going on there.
Absolutely.
Be alert to it.
So
know what
I
you're
don't
getting.
think we're at the point where the robots are taking over.
I don't think we're there.
Like, they're not doing such a great job. They're doing pretty good.
Right.
But we're not all the way there.
No.
So, the human element is still important, especially
so.
in this hobby. Not ready for soulless quilts yet.
Soulless quilts, soulless patterns made up by robotic opinions on what something should look like. I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for people that... There are plenty of artistic folks out there that can create and do really well.
Sure.
And to cheap out and use a robotic AI to create something for you instead of using another human that's capable of doing the work just as well, like, that's awful. Don't be
Yes.
that way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
But this is why most commonly sold patterns are going to have pattern testers.
right.
They're going to have pictures of the completed quilt
Mhm.
that you can actually see. Again, in your local quilt shop, likely you're going to be getting high quality, actually designed, paying designers,
Yeah.
all of that.
Right.
Because, we don't want to get rid of designers.
No.
One of the things that I chatted with a friend of the shop, Anna Maria, about
Yes.
AI a little bit. And one of the things that we were talking about too, with the AI designing fabric potentially, is that when we buy fabric, we take a lot of things into consideration most of the time.
Most of the time.
Sometimes that's pretty and I need it, and no further thought happens. But often we're looking at lines and we're making sure, okay, across this whole line, is there enough contrast that's going to make a dynamic quilt?
Right.
Does it have a good mix of scale of prints? Some small scale, medium scale, large scale.
Right.
Things like that. Like, does it feel like a cohesive collection? Do all of the pieces make sense together? Are they using a color palette that's universal across the collection so everything plays nice? Things like that are important for us to know that you can use this collection and it's going to make a beautiful quilt.
Right.
So that I don't think the machines have learned yet. Don't tell them.
Maybe they might. I mean, but even then, I'm not going to wholly trust a computer's opinion on it, because sometimes, like, we're working off color cards, and
Yeah.
sometimes fabric doesn't print out the way the color cards look, and
That's very real.
so making that decision, I couldn't imagine wholly leaving that to a computer decision, especially not anytime soon. Maybe eventually. Again, technology can be trained, if you will. I don't like to say it learns, because it feels like somebody's trying to say it's alive. I don't think that's real. But
Not quite like Jumanji.
no, not quite like Jumanji at all. But
But yeah.
Spoonflower has so much AI generated images. They absolutely do.
Yes, they
but,
do.
You know, they're an online business. They are like, that's what they do. They print fabric. You want a specific idea and whatever printed out there, cool. I
Oh,
guess, go
great
for it.
question, Karen. Okay, so Spoonflower is a website service that will print fabric on demand. So
Mhm.
you upload your image, theoretically a repeatable image. So then that will make a repeat and they will print fabric for you.
Yep.
There are also other companies that do it, but Spoonflower is kind of the most famous, I
Currently.
guess.
And they have different qualities of fabric.
Yes. Different substrates you can print on,
Yes.
like home deck fabric or clothing fabric or what have you. Like even our pals at Paintbrush, they do the same thing.
They do.
But the folks at Spoonflower are not regulating out, I guess, AI images. Also, when someone uploads a design to Spoonflower, they can make it publicly available so that other people can use that print as well. So that's mostly what Julie is getting at, is that there's so much AI generated images that are readily available to be ordered on Spoonflower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, it's one of those things. Are you going to know that it was AI generated? Is it going to make a difference when you cut that fabric up and piece it into your quilt? No, not really. Actually, you probably won't have any idea most of the time.
But again, you'll have those hallmarks where things are maybe not crisp and clear. They don't finish quite right.
Right.
They might be a little bit blurry. Quality might not be great. So again, anything that you're looking at purchasing online, just have an air of suspicion. If it doesn't seem,
yeah, absolutely.
quite right,
Mhm.
maybe you should be suspicious. If the price is really, really low, maybe you should be suspicious.
Right. Yeah. Price, well, you do get what you pay for. And generally, people that degree, like, I put 2 seconds of my life to say, put this onto a design, and here it is, and I uploaded it. Now I'm selling it for $4 a yard. It's cheap fabric. I still have lost no money because I didn't spend hours designing that.
Sure.
So you got to
And
watch out for that, though.
Joni, you're correct. Hand quilters do not need AI. If you're hand piecing and hand quilting, you are the machine.
You are a machine.
That's
Love
right.
it. But it's again, it's good to understand the conversation. Again,
Yeah.
that's the whole idea here today, is for sure know that every facet of our life. If you have a cell phone in your hand and you're watching this video right now, or a computer, AI is involved to some degree.
Yeah. Regardless, you're on social media, and those are all fed by algorithms that were created with AI.
Which helps us find things that we need sometimes
Absolutely.
before we knew we needed them. But
Mhm.
again, so it's not all bad. It has made life a hair easier
Yeah.
to a degree.
Are y'all on TikTok? Talk about algorithms,
There are
man.
algorithms there.
Woof.
Good Lord, you can see them. Visual. No, I'm kidding, obviously.
No, but you watch like 2 seconds of a video, and TikTok is like, you like this. I'm going
Oh.
to give you all of this.
You love
So
all
much
the
of
cat
this.
videos. Okay, no, please stop. I'm allergic to cats. Anyway, like I said, there's a lot of information to be had in the AI conversation.
Absolutely.
I hope you guys got something from this. Maybe a little bit more understanding, not necessarily enough to decide pro, against, whatever.
Sure.
But just enough to understand a little bit more and to be aware of what you're looking for while you're out there in the quilting world.
Yes.
Ask questions by all means. If you're coming into the shop, I'll have the conversation with you. She'll have the conversation with you. Victoria will have that conversation with you.
Danielle will look at you a little glassy-eyed. She's not very technology-centric, so maybe don't ask her.
I mean, you can.
Maybe.
It could be fun.
Yeah.
She'll still have a conversation with you as
Absolutely,
well as
she will.
she can. Or just go out and kind of start looking and do a little bit more of your own searching, see what's out there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just keep on doing what we're doing. Should I use the sign-off that it gave me?
This sign-off was written by AI. You're welcome. Go ahead, Jason.
At this point, I got nothing else. You good?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. You good over there? All right. So thanks for joining us today. Until next time, keep stitching, keep dreaming, and don't be afraid to add a little code to your creativity. Bye.
Bye.